I'm Princess Mo. Um, yeah, we gonna skip all the pleasantries today because we have a guest. So fast forward through all the pleasantries, all that, all that, all that. So this is the guest. You want to introduce yourself?
You can introduce me.
Okay, Shabuya, Shabuya, roll call. Your name is Monica. Yeah, you are my mother. Yeah, and you like to
sing. Let me quit playing.
That was a bad introduction, but this is my mother. She is joining us today because she has a different perspective on my testimony. So I'm just going to be asking her a couple questions about her experience as my mother through, all of the things that God has called me to do. So let's just get right into it. Are you ready?
Not really, but I'll get ready. Y'all know I don't
Hey, I'm trying to live righteous.
So let's just get right into it. So the first question, we are going to go back a little ways. Back, no, not 30 years, 27. So,
okay. Telling your age.
What was it like being pregnant with me? Did anything significant happen?
Give me a moment to think about that. It was 27 years ago.
It wasn't that long. Don't do that.
That was a while ago.
I'm not even that old.
Let me see. When I was pregnant with you, did anything significant happen?
Yeah. Besides your burst of joy that I was coming.
Well, in the beginning, when I first gained knowledge that I was with child, I think that I was going. Well, I know I was like going through some things in my relationship, so I wasn't totally excited when I first found out. I was working at a nursing home, and I was in nursing school at the time, taking some classes, and then yes, I learned that I was pregnant. I was having a lot of morning sickness, so yes, Monique had me very sick in the beginning. And I didn't even get sick until I first found out that I was pregnant. Then the morning sickness kicked in for about 3 months.
Oh, that's a long time.
Yeah, it was. And I ended up stopped working at the nursing home that I was working at. I was doing some training there while I was in school at Triton College. So I ended up stopped working, had a talk with Monique's dad. We decided it was okay for me to stop working at the time to go through my pregnancy because I was like significantly sick at the time. The morning sickness was overloads. And that's what made me think that it was a girl, because I didn't have that same morning sickness with my son, with the pregnancy with my son. So anyways, the great thing about the pregnancy though with Monique, I did not gain a lot of weight. I was very excited about that. I was all belly with Monique. I didn't gain a lot of weight. And I was a little more smart about this pregnancy too, because I was overly, I think, happy with the first pregnancy. So I was eating everything, but I didn't realize the weight gain was going to be like that. So yes, this pregnancy, I was more mindful of that.
Anything significant, like did God tell you like, oh, you having this type of child, or you having a daughter and she's gonna do this, that, and the other?
Well, yeah, that was the next part I was gonna say. So I was in church at the time, and I can't even think of the name of the church right now. We changed names so many times, but Higher Ground. I was going to Higher Ground at the time, and very faithful in the ministry. And I remember, I think I was about 7 or 8 months with Monique, and I had went up for prayer, and they had prayed over my belly at that time when I was pregnant with Monique. I remember my Aunt Linda, Minister Curlin, and the pastor at the time, they had prayed over me and told me that my womb was blessed, and that, what was it that they said? Do you remember? I know I told you.
No, I don't remember.
But I know that they told me that my wound was blessed, and Monique was gonna be different. It was gonna be something special about her. I don't remember the exact words, but I do remember them saying that my wound was blessed, and that she was a chosen child, and that she was gonna do great and mighty things for the Lord.
Did you know I was special growing up? Like, did you know that God had His hand on me while I was growing up?
I didn't know that Monique was special growing up. Seriously, Monique, at a very early age, I mean, Monique, even when she was little, like Monique didn't crawl around like normal kids crawl around. She crawled around on
Now, why you gotta tell
that one knee. I mean, just everything she did was different. She crawled around on that one knee and pushed herself around, and that is actually how those knees, got so dark at that time. That especially that one knee. She crawled around on that one knee and she pushed up with her other foot, trying to keep up with her brother. I guess that made her faster to get around. So that is how she crawled around.
That was faster.
But growing up, Monique was very outgoing. She was very bold with a lot of things. She used to sing all the time. She was very anointed, as well as having a gift, but she was more anointed than anything, and she used to sing or sang for the Lord. But Monique used to sing all the time. I remember she started singing when she was what, 3, 4? What age?
I don't know.
She started dance class at 3, and she danced all the way through high school. And she was even anointed, with that. She was very good. She always was in the advanced classes. And I don't know, she just always excelled at everything she did. Even in school, she was always in the AP classes. She was always in the honor roll classes. She didn't have to study for tests or anything like that. She used to just take the tests, even though she never liked to do her homework, but she would pass some tests, even those SAT tests or whatever those tests was. SATs.
Yeah.
No.
ISAT
tests, something like that. SAT somebody. Yeah. But even when she used to take those tests in school, Monique, I still have them too in my files upstairs. She always scored way higher, grades higher than where she was. So if she was in the 2nd grade, she was scoring at 5th and 6th grade. Like, she always excelled in those tests and always scored higher than her grade level in the reading comprehension and different things like that. I think the only thing that she really struggled with was kind of like the math part. But everything else, you said still, everything else she always excelled at. And like I said, she was very bold, very outspoken. I remember we lived in Bensonville, and she was outside playing. I remember this little girl coming up to her and just, kids used to always come up to her and just start talking. They would tell her their life story, things that were going on in their home. Like, she was just very, I guess, easy to talk to. I don't know why, but they were drawn to her and would always talk to her like little kids that, she didn't even know this little girl. And I think she was Caucasian. But she just came up to Monique. She was talking to her, telling her things that were going on in her house. I can't remember exactly what she told her, but
how old was I at that time? I think
at that time, let me see,
10 maybe.
Yeah, maybe 10 years old. But she used to always get kids that will come up to her and just tell them their problems, tell them their parents' business, I should say, things that were going on in their home. They would always talk to Monique and tell Monique all the time. And she had me always trying to figure out how I can help these kids. And I used to feel bad for them, but we was just always giving and just love to cater to people, love to do charity, feed the homeless, different things like that. We enjoy things like that. I remember Monique, had to, we had her give Christmas toys. I'm getting tongue-tied. Give Christmas toys that they would receive. And they had so many toys, like Toys R Us in our home. So I would always have her and her brother give one of their new toys to someone less fortunate. And of course, the first time she really didn't like it. Why she'd sit there and lined up all her toys, trying to figure out which one she wanted to give because she just loved them all. But the more that we did it, the more, she enjoyed doing it, and would pick one that she felt like, another little girl would really like. So she always had a good heart
And kids
growing
always
up.
want to be like me. Like, I
Yeah,
couldn't
she used to
stand that. Like,
dislike that. You know, other kids always want to be like her or want the same things. And I used to have to explain to her when they made this one dress or this one outfit or this one pair of shoes, they didn't just make one, they made several. So anyone could see it and purchase it. But she didn't understand that. If somebody liked her favorite color, she wanted to change her favorite color. It's no longer pink, it's yellow now, it's blue. Like, she just didn't like people wanting what she wanted or liking what she liked. She wanted to always stand out and be different. And that she was, you know. So, yes.
What was it like for you during my BC days?
In college?
No,
Or
like, so
high school?
the days where I was really in the world, what was it like for you during that time where I was like really not pulling on God and just doing like a lot of different recreational things, you know?
I'm trying to think which time. I mean, I guess the most part that I didn't have control over or wasn't able to see on a daily basis was probably when you was at college. I know that she did some things way before that, you know, wasn't perfect. None of us are. We all fall short. But of course, when the child's living in a home with you and you see them every day, you feel like you have more control and can be more watchful of it. But kids are still sneaky, especially girls. They're very sneaky. And even in high school, Monique and I was not very close. She did not like her mama. She couldn't stand me in high school.
I could not.
But when she went away to school, it's almost like, you know, I became her best bud, you know. But those were her BC days, you know. And I just used to pray for Monique. You know, I guess I didn't fear or worry about her like that, you know, because her communication was very open with me. I knew everything that was going on, what she was doing, where she was at, who she was with. She called me all the time in between every class. It's like I was a student at Western as well, because going to school, she called me in between walking to the next class, going home. Like, I was a part of everything. So I always say that we went to Western, you know, because I knew everybody.
I called her drunk. It'd be 2, 3 in the morning. I was calling my mom.
She called me drunk, upset. They won't take me home. I'm walking home. It's in the middle of the night, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Her battery low. So of course I'm concerned. I remember calling her friends like, Monique is walking home by herself, drunk, battery about to die. Can you please go get my child and make sure she make it home okay? And she was stubborn. I remember friends coming to pick her up. She didn't even want to get in the car, just, you know, being stubborn. I'm like begging her to get in the car. Man, it was challenging because I was 3.5 hours away. But I'm glad that, you know, I knew her friends. They used to call me mama. So if she wasn't answering or the phone died, I was able to reach out to other people to find out what's going on with her. Did she make it home? Okay, she made it home. She just knocked out sleep or whatever. That's why she didn't answer the phone. And I guess I was happy at the time as well that she had Bella, because at least, you know, Bella, somebody come up in there that shouldn't be. That was her dog. Bella gonna bark. She gonna let Monique know, you know, that will wake her up if she was, you know, intoxicated.
So like, did you feel any type of way, like, were you like worried that I was just too far in the world, like I was just too gone, like just doing things that just was like outrageous?
No, I guess I never felt like you were gone too far in the world. I felt, it's not so much that I felt like it was normal stuff, but at the same time, I felt like it's college. This is what a lot of kids do. I never feared that she was so far gone that she wouldn't find her way back. I never felt like that.
Talk
that
about
I remember.
the time, how upset you were. This is a time where she was upset. Like, this is probably the first time that it really occurred to me, like, oh, like, God is a thing. Like, well, not like God is a thing, because I grew up in the church. I always went to church. But, like, maybe God has a presence in my life. When she found out I had my nipples pierced.
Right. I'm trying to remember because I forgot about that. I think this was when you first went away, I believe.
This was
Or
like
sophomore year.
sophomore. Yeah, I think it was. I got them pierced and $10 pierced in December freshman year. So I got them pierced freshman year, but you didn't find out till sophomore year. And the only way she found out was because I was hiding it, of course. You know, that's not something you tell parents. But I had fell asleep because at the time I was working 2 jobs. I worked one job like I think like 2 to 11 p.m. and then the other job I worked like 6 to 1 or something, 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. Then I went to the other job. I did that over the summer because when I was in school, I didn't work. I had just got out the shower and I fell asleep on the bed in my towel. And, I fell asleep for a long time. And so the towel came off and she just came into my room. It's not like now, like parents like knock before they come into your room or something. And like, no. She came into my room and my towel was off, of course, and she's like, Monique, what is that? Like, she started freaking out.
I don't even remember what I did, but yeah, I felt like, to me, that was really worldly to me. I mean, I know drinking and all this stuff, but that was like so sinful to me for some reason. And I was totally against that. I did not like it at all. I felt like that was like, to me, like, I don't know if I just felt like it was like a sexual, worldly, like just outrageous. Like, what are you doing? What are you trying to portray? That was probably one of the over the top things for me that really like.
What was another over the top thing?
Another over the top thing.
Oh, disclaimer: I do not still have my nipple rings in, so I don't want y'all to be like, oh my goodness, Monique got nipple. No, that's not a thing anymore. God asked me to take it out, so my nipple rings, my belly piercings, all that stuff. I can't get rid of the tattoos, but all the piercings, I took those out.
Thank God. Yes, another over the top thing for me was, I guess, when it was her birthday, the drinking, the pouring the alcohol down her throat and things like that. I don't know if she shared that. I don't know if she wanted me to share, but stuff like that. Like, that was just too much for me, And then I don't know. Yeah, that was too much for me.
What that was called. When they like you chug and your friend like pour it down your throat.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
I forgot what it's called. I don't know.
It don't matter. I didn't like it. Pineapples. Didn't like it.
Yeah, I don't know what it's called. But I definitely did used to turn it. Ooh, especially my 21st birthday. I was lit. Like, that was I was lit for that birthday.
Yeah. I don't know what else. Something else that you remember I was really didn't like? Nothing I can think of at the moment.
No.
She's trying to test my memory.
Not that I like, you pretty much knew everything while I was doing it, so I didn't really like hide anything that I was doing, so it wasn't really anything that was like outrageous that you found out about other than the nipple rings, of course. No, it wasn't. I don't remember anything. And then how did you feel when you found out I smoked? Or you already knew?
I think I knew that already. I don't remember when. I can't say exactly when I found out. But I guess I don't think I was as upset about that as I was the nipple piercings and stuff.
You need to let that nipple ring go.
I don't know why that bothered me so much, but I just like.
Yeah, I remember she said to me, like, she was so mad, and she was like, well, how are you going to be a minister if you have your nipples pierced? And I'm like, if I'm preaching or something, like I'm on the pulpit or I'm in church, I'm going to have a bra and a shirt on. Like, I'm not just going to be walking around like old nipple piercings. Like,
and I know that, but I guess my thing
why she was tripping
with my children is, I used to tell them, yeah, you do all these things. Most people feel like, well, I'm young. Let me live my best life. I can do this and do that. But I just feel like you never know where life is going to take you when you mature and as you grow closer to God. Even if you don't decide to grow closer to God, you just never know where life is going to take you. My prayer is that they will be closer to God. But even if you decide not to, regardless of where life takes you, you need to be careful of the things you do in your youth, because those things follow you all the days of your life pretty much. You know, you may run for president, mayor, like I said, be a minister, a pastor, evangelist, whatever. You know, some people don't let things go. Some people will learn from your testimony and different things like that, but some people won't. If you taking exotic pictures, you dancing on a strip pose, you know, you drinking, smoking, doing drugs, you know, whatever it is, some people don't know how to let that go, which, I mean, it doesn't matter what people let go, but still, you just never know where life is going to take you. And I just feel that everyone should be cautious of the things that they're doing, even in their youth. You can live your best life in a better way than just going so far left.
What does God tell you about me?
What does God tell me about you now?
Like, I mean, all the time. So, like, what has he to, even like when I was a kid or when I was in high school, when I was in college, now, when God speaks to you about me, what does he say?
What does God say? I just feel like, I know that God has always said there was something special about Monique. She was definitely called to something great in God. At that time, I probably didn't understand it to the fullest to nourish it more in her youth. And maybe a lot of things could have been avoided. Or then again, the other part is a lot of things are a part of her testimony. So maybe they wasn't supposed to be avoided. Maybe it was all a part of her testimony. God, you know, God just always shared something. It was always something special about Monique. And I tried to encourage her in the most positive way that I could in every area of her life, no matter what she decided to do. I always try to be supportive and tell her there's no such thing as I can't. You can do anything in this world that you put your mind to. When she was dancing, when she was singing, you know, when she was president of PPMT, like even in college, you know, I know that Monique really didn't want to go away to school. I know that she, you know, school wasn't her thing. The older that she got, she's like, well, I don't like school. She did it because, well, I had to, you know. And even going away to school, to me, it was the best thing that we could have did for her was really encouraging her to go. Well, she said we made her go, that she didn't have a choice. But I'm thankful that she did go. I feel like she learned so many things. If you could change it, would you still have win?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm thankful that I, you know, that, well, she said we made, I'm glad that we made her go. I wish I would have made my son go, you know, but I'm thankful for the lessons that she learned and even for the people that she crossed paths with at that time. But God always showed me something special about Monique. Even now, greater is still to come. You know, she's anointed, you know, she's God-fearing. And she really loves the Lord, and she has a heart for the people, you know. So I thank God for that, because, you know, it could be totally different. But he always showed me that there was something unique and special about Monique, you know, our princess from a little girl, you know, she was our princess. And that will follow her for all her days. And she has a calling in her life. You know, God showed me that there is definitely a calling on her life.
Was there ever a time that you doubted what God told you about me?
Why are you laughing? I would say it probably was when she was diagnosed with the multiple sclerosis. Is probably when I doubted the most.
What was your reaction to God in that time? Like, how did you feel? Because you didn't show me how you felt, but you probably went to God and said something totally different.
Yeah, I think I more so blamed myself, feeling like, well, maybe it's because of my sins, my wrongdoings. I was upset. I wasn't even upset at God so much. I think I was more upset at myself thinking that it was something that I did or didn't do. So I kind of blamed myself. I didn't so much blame God. I did question God, like why, and just prayed that He would take it away. But I think I blame myself more than God, thinking it was because of my sins or something like that.
So when they diagnosed me with that in the first initial times, or actually let's go back. So when I was diagnosed with MS, I was away at school. So I was away at school, and I was president of modeling org, and we had a practice. I think, yeah, we had a practice before the other kids came back to school. So it was like a first practice, like right before school started. So it was fall semester, but it was like a week before school started, and we wear heels for practice, and so I couldn't walk in my heels. I kept falling. And then I'm like, something is wrong. Like, something is not right. Like, why do I keep falling? And so one of my members, my mentees at the time, she took me to the emergency room. And so I went to the emergency room, and I went to college in a small town. And so they said, well, we don't know what to do for you here. We don't have the resources here to figure out what's wrong with you. So we're going to transfer you to another hospital. So the other hospital was like 2 hours away. So I had to go in the ambulance to the other hospital. And so, I called my mom, of course, and told her. So what was your emotions like then? Did you know that something serious was wrong, or did you feel like, oh, everything's okay?
At that time, my emotions were all over the place. I felt like, I wasn't there. So it really bothered me because I was, 3.5 hours away. And I'm like, kept debating with myself, should I go? Or it's going to be okay. And I guess I told myself that it's going to be okay, that it was, something small, that let me just let them do what they're going to do and run the test before I go taking off running. Because everybody that know me, if Donna Monique call and there's a problem, Monica is gone. They don't even get to finish telling me the problem. I get in my vehicle and I'm on my way to my child. That's just how I've always been. People used to always talk about me like, oh, they spoiled, they this or that. No, I'm their mother. If I feel like I'm all they got at this time and I'm going to go to my children, I'm going. Monique and Donna is always, we all we got, But it wasn't about spoiling my children. I mean, I'm their mother, Monique used to say all the time in high school, fix it. She thought I could fix anything. The girl would bring the craziest stuff to me and want me to fix it. I don't know where she got that from, but she feels like I can fix anything. So anyway, at that time, it's like I calmed myself down. I think I talked to Ken, at the time, I think
my stepdad.
I talked to him, and of course, men have a different reaction. Even her dad had a different reaction, and everybody feel like, well, just be cool. It's probably nothing. You know what I'm saying? But in your heart, I don't know. It's just a mother to me. In your heart, in your mind, you just feeling no different. I did calm down and just say, and be cool. And I kept calling Monique, checking in on her stuff. I don't know how long she was there. A day? I think she stayed there overnight a day, and they were running tests, but still hadn't got any results back yet. And I'm like, they're not doing anything. Why they don't know something yet? Because it had been all that night, and it probably wasn't even that long, but in my mind, it was.
I think it was like overnight, and then like the next
throughout
day.
The next day, and
throughout the next morning, because she got there the next evening.
So I went to work and everything, and
did God tell you to go?
While I was sitting at my desk at work, I'm just working stuff. I checked on Monique. I'm like, well, have they came in and said anything yet? And I think she gave me something small where they said my white blood cells are this or that or whatever. And I said, well, we're going to give it a few more minutes and see if they come back with anything. We waiting on it. They had did a couple of tests or whatever. We still waiting on the results. And I'm just sitting there working, taking calls, and then something told me, it just hit me or tapped me on my shoulder, and it was like, go to your child.